Hey, AG here. Welcome to the comic book collection updates. We got some more comics for you guys. Just to let you know, it's one shots, other issues, uh, starting series, but we're gonna cover them. We're gonna talk about them. So let's get straight to it. So we're starting off with Godzilla versus Thor. Before we even get jumped straight into that, so I was thinking like the Godzilla versus Avengers was going to be like a continuous type of thing, but I'm now realizing that all Godzilla versus whoever from the Marvel universe is basically all one shots and stuff like that. And I'm gonna say, yeah, cool, because I'm thinking like all of them equals out to the next issue that should be coming out soon is that Godzilla destroys the Marvel universe. So with that being said, I'm cool with these one shots, but I'm really cool with Godzilla versus Thor because, like as I told y'all last week with Behemoths, that's what I expected, and basically this is what and that's what I want. This what happens in this issue, and I feel like that this is a good issue, a good pickup, a good read. So what happened is a organization want the best killers out of killers, and one of the best killers of killers is Godzilla. So they revive Godzilla, and another thing, Godzilla basically it's in a different comic, or probably something like that. Godzilla dies, got killed, and they revived Godzilla with the blood of some murderers. And Godzilla came back, started destroying. Thor came through, started fighting Godzilla, froze Godzilla. Well, Godzilla, wasn't dead, he was just frozen. Thor had I did throw him in the sun, but people wanted to resource Godzilla. But Godzilla, uh, wasn't really trying to like. Well, no, Godzilla was basically like a zombie. It wasn't really Godzilla like we know Godzilla, but the group that ended up, bringing him back to life, ended up unfreezing him by giving him the power of what was that? Gore, I think it's Gore the God Slayer, whatever the abilities that the God Slayer has for Thor, that the God Gore or whatever has to kill all the gods and stuff like that. They gave him a piece of that Godzilla, a piece of that. It unfroze Godzilla, and Godzilla went go destroy Ragnar, not Ragnar, went destroy Asgard, and basically Thor had to basically make a big sacrifice. But Thor and Godzilla is in a never-ending battle. But it's a good pick up and read it because the ending is like, oh, that's what he means by never-ending battle. Bring on the bad guys, Green Goblin. It continues. Not really continues. It's just basically telling you how the Green Goblin just starts. This story was basically not that interesting because it already tells you like Norman basically starts off Norman making a deal with Mephisto. Mephisto sitting up there saying, "You for the deal, you got to do two things for me. One is sacrifice your son, and the next is take a life." Um, After that, it just basically shows you what Norman went through. Basically, he became successful. He ended up becoming the accident happens that makes him into turning into the Green Goblin. Um, and then basically it shows him like his first kill as the Green Goblin. Mephisto was like, "Hey, you yearn for this. You could tell. So how about you just go do it?" Not to dwell too much on this one. It's basically he just killed someone. Uh, really wasn't that interesting. But next month is Abominations issue, so can't wait. It's a one shot, so I don't know if you want to call it a continue one, but it's just a one shot, really, technically, because it's issue one, and I don't think they're having no other issues. But besides Abomination, and that's gonna be called its own issue one. So besides that, it's not really a necessary pickup. Okay, Absolute Green Lantern issue 4. So how can I explain this? Story, like from the beginning to now, is doing like a flashback in current time. Hal and Joe are going at it, and they are flashing back. They have a conversation during the going at it, and have a lot of conversation of what happened. In this issue 4, it shows that it answers some questions from the first three, and basically, Guy, uh, John Stewart, and some of the other people who've been judged are still alive, while Hal and Joe thought they was dead. But the problem is that now, at the end of issue 4, you don't know, because in the flashback, you find out Joe might be a problem that might have caused a problem that may have killed or destroyed, like killed some people. But she is the problem that made the city, their town, really be destroyed. So how they ended, they answers the question, made some more, and I'm not gonna lie, it made it look like it was how that was the problem, to switch it all on Joe, and Joe have the power of the Green Lantern. And the way how the story is going, it's still, to me, it's still interesting. I know I'm not explaining it correctly to make it sound interesting, but I like how they're keep ending it off with what happened next in the flashback. It just give that, what's that word I'm looking for? Suspense, and it got me hooked. I'm still rocking with it. I'm still rocking with it. All right, Sisterhood, a high street story. It's about sisterhood. So the men that not really into these types of stories, with women and stuff like that, you could jump out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I enjoyed it though. Like, just the premise of how it's setting up the story, because it's, want to say it's like a 6 issue story, so it ain't gonna be long. It's a revenge story. Two girls that's friends, they ended up going through some tragic events together, but they were side by side. And when they made it to college, like, all the tragic event happened when the tragic event happened when they was young, like children, and they eventually got into college. One was stay at home study, well, stay in a dorm study, and the other one was trying to be in the what that a sorority. So with that being said and done, they joined a sorority, and one of them trying to join a sorority, and during the hazing, something goes wrong and she dies. And instead of the sorority taking accountability, they just put a lot of fault on her, on the one that passed away, and the friend is now basically going out, basically just want revenge. And she went into the shop, and basically now the the spirit of her dead friend is now with her. I don't know their names. Say, I say I can open the book and actually look at it, but I'm not. The reason why is I want them. I want the sword to make me, like, earn its way to me learning their names without even thinking about it. And on the track that they're going, I think it will. I think it will. All right, a Valve comic issue 1 of Something Crawled Out. This right here for the first story is try to allure that, it's two friends, a boy and a girl. The girl's Eddie, Reiner is the boy, and they're trying to say Reiner is the devil. How they led up all the way to even at the end, they lead up to talking about how Reiner is the devil, and, like, in a dream it shows like he did something to make her incident happen. But when she woke up from when Eddie woke up from the dream, was like, why this dream is so wrong from the incident? Like, it's not right. But anything, everybody in the town don't even mess with Reiner, because they're like, hey, something's wrong with him. He's bad news. But They're best friends. Eddie and Reiner's best friends. Um, this story basically just shows how they're dynamic and what they do. Eddie's waiting, like Eddie's going about the day, but Eddie like wonder why her sister never got in touch, never came home from the night before, and never got in touch till late night. Eddie went to work, and then all of a sudden, something weird. Some guy with a gun you know, came to the store, but didn't walk in, and then they opened up the store, and somebody they knew from the town came in, and it just went to shit from there. Like the guy started getting a little riled up, and Eddie pointed a gun to him. You know, she was strapping, you heard me, where the store was had that revolver. Uh had a whole revolver. But I was just thought about to say that nine, that strap, you hear me? But nah, it was just it was a revolver. And she pointed it at him and was like, hey, chill out before I and bam. Yeah. She did not blow that man's head off. Somebody else walked into the store. You seen it like in the strip that somebody walked in and they didn't know that person had a gun and that person blew that man's head off. But everybody was like, Eddie and Reiner was looking at her like it was a female that did it, and she was just plain naked. And they was like, hey, what's going on here? And it's like the girl ended up pulling the gun to herself and said, don't let him take her. And boom, blew her head off and ended right there. And it's like they got the little side bubble, the little inner monologue bubble, and like just saying something about Reiner being the devil. And it's like, well, fuck Reiner. What the fuck just happened with the girl blowing her head off? But we ain't gonna find out until the next issue. And I will be grabbing that one. All right. Last one, issue one, a Marvel comic, Captain America. Oh wait. Our Secret Wars, part one. I did not notice the top part. Oh my gosh, that's would have been easier to find the picture I wanted if I would have noticed that at the top. But anyway, so we have Captain America. You already know his story. Fought in World War II. Well, yeah, scrawny kid wanted to join the army. Showed a lot of heart, bravery, and ended up, getting picked for the super soldier program. Became this super soldier. Fought in World War II as a super soldier. Uh, what I'm missing? Oh, he ended up doing great things, but he ended up falling into Lake Froze and got thawed out in the future. Who found them? It was the Avengers. They found them, thawed them out, revived them. That's the story for him, and that's his background for this. I know that's his normal background, and this is his story. He wakes up. He wakes up into a new world, and basically, the Avengers wanted him on the team. He declined. He said, "I'm still a soldier," so he went back to the military. He's still with the army, and he just you basically doing something. He's doing a secret mission. I think during this time is uh Iraq, like basically terrorism that happened 9/11. So what? So if basically 9/11 happened, and he's about to lead a group to go and check up on Doctor Doom, like well infiltrate Doctor Doom's country and take like basically do something to mess up Doctor Doom. Don't know the really full specs of that, but the thing is that you don't really you see a story plays out that's similar to Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, and it's this other guy. This other kid has asthma attack. He's weak. But the thing is, he's getting bullied bad in the military, but he won't stop. And then but he won't. He got a lot of heart, and they call him a crybaby. Well, one of the sergeants, it's a general sergeant. One of them ended up taking him outside one night and beating the shit out of him. But he just kept getting up and kept like he was putting up a no he wasn't really putting up a fight. He was getting his ass beat. And while he was in the hospital, that same one that's whooping his ass said, "You didn't stop. Like you said, you wasn't a crybaby. So what if I tell you?" Because the guy was trying to reach for his inhaler, and you know, he gave him the sergeant gave him his inhaler and said, "What if I tell you I can heal you? I can make you into a super soldier." And that when that story ends, and while Captain America was doing a briefing about infiltrating Doctor Doom's little thing, I'm guessing this is going to be tie into one under Doom or something like that. But if not, it's cool. It's this story is still interesting. But while he's at the briefing, there's a guy that comes in holding a shield, just like Captain America, and we're gonna have to find out in issue 2 what's that all about.